Hey, Paul. How are you doing, man?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have not seen you in years. Great to see. Dude,
It's been
your
4 years.
movie, your movie, okay, all of your movies have the tightest scripts. They're all 90 minutes. There's not a wasted word of dialogue, not one. This may be your best work. The I no spoilers, right? Getting to the end. It's about a guy who's he's an office worker bee. He has a happy wife, right? Working a day job he doesn't care about. His passion is he's a writer. He's trying to write, just get a free moment to just finish a sentence. He's having recurring nightmare where he sees someone who may or may not be him, sees a lot of crazy stuff, and is dealing with internal demons when he's sent on an errand by the boss of all the bosses. What is this errand? It's a mystery. It's a literal mystery box. Another home run for you, Paul. Um, Tell us about Fluorescent Beast, what inspired it, and how you keep all your movies from we can and I want to talk about your other movies too. How is it you're so consistent? It's the power, it tells you like the power of just the script. Tell us how we got to the script for Fluorescent Beast.
I think the inspiration's pretty obvious. Being a,
Right.
I think
Yeah, it is.
once you're an artist with any sort of like life responsibility, it's all about finding the time. The inspiration was sort of I thought of like what if all the all the responsibilities and time sucking things of modern living, what if instead of them being happenstance of life, what if they were actually all part of a conscious conspiracy designed to crush your soul and your dreams? And by crush your dreams, I mean yours, just yours. Boom.
Yes.
Um, it was funny. I pitched the movie to Caden Cross, who's in the film, and she said, "Well, that's true, isn't it? Aren't that isn't isn't that that's not fiction? What do you? That's not fiction at all." So that was the inspiration for the movie. But the really dumb seed where it all started, it's really that's the scene, all the scenes, the dream sequences in the film. He has reoccurring dreams, as you mentioned. They're in this kind of this weird, misshapen garden place with tree light, with little lights and stuff. And that spot exists behind my garage at my house. It used to be just this undeveloped like crap grass and trees and garbage. And when the drought came to LA, my wife goes, "We're taking all that out. We're gonna kind of pave it. We'll keep the trees around the sides. We'll keep like a lemon tree. We're gonna put in some furniture. We're gonna put in little lights. We're gonna put in like a David Lynch looking, Twin Peaks looking carpet, and make it this outside little seating area with a fire pit." And I went out there and I'm like, I gotta shoot something out here, man. So I came up with those dream things first. Now that's the backwards way to write a script. You really should come up with like the cool, idea, and then kind of figure out how to tell it. But I started with this like, I have these dream scenes. Where do they go? What do I do with them? And that's honestly where it grew from. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where the scripts come. I don't know. I just I write a lot, and when I find one that I fall in love with and I want to spend a couple of years on, I make it into a movie.
Your scripts are just so tight. They're
Thank you.
tight and flawless. 10 Till Noon was so good. I hope that's still out somewhere on
Yeah,
Tubi.
it's on Prime. Yeah, it's on Prime, and I think you can track down the DVD for sure on like the various sites for like $5. But you can rent the film. I think you can stream it for free actually on Prime in the US, UK, and somewhere else. So it's available. You can see it.
And 10 Till Noon, again, had such a creative structure, and it kept the reveal of repeating this 10 minutes from different points of view is chef's kiss. It's so good. It's so good. And that movie inspired the documentary. Tell that story.
Yeah, well, so 10 Till Noon was the first film I was creatively above the line on. I was a writer and a producer was directed by Scott Storm, who also produced it with me. And we started taking it on the festival circuit and immediately ran into weird politics and things we didn't understand because we were young and naive. And I thought there's got to be a documentary about how to do this. I mean, surely there's a book somewhere, but the circuit, I got to read. I got to watch a movie. It's faster. So I looked. I'm thinking filmmakers go to film festivals. They must have made a movie about how to do this stuff, and no one had. I think it was because they didn't want to speak out of school about it. I think they didn't want to, like, you know, talk out loud about some of the stuff going on. And I thought, well, if I can't find a documentary on the subject, maybe I should just make a documentary on the subject, and we'll make it a comedy because we're dumb and we're going to run into walls. And so might as well make them laugh. So that's how documentary Official Rejection was born. We just filmed on the festival circuit when we took 10 till noon, on the road, and documented our journey and the journey of other films that were on the circuit with us. And it was sort of everybody talks about Sundance movies and Tribeca movies. That's the 1%. The 99.9% of indie films don't go to the majors. They play the regional festivals. And so that's kind of what we covered. It was covering what the majority actually goes through. And it's meant to be a realistic look at no dreams. It's meant to be like, this is what it is. This is what you do. This is why you should manage your expectations. And Chris, you were a big part of helping us make that movie, actually.
Well, that was a good decision to put me in the film.
I
thought
agree.
that was a fun. I'm even on the commentary for the DVD. We had so much fun that day.
I know. I remember we had to break twice because you had to pee.
Yes, it happened.
You mentioned it. It's not a secret. You mentioned it in the commentary.
I mentioned
it. I gotta pee.
I do it on the show all the time.
I'm peeing right now.
But look, that movie and the doc is so good, and it's like you built up this. It's like every couple of years a new Paul Osborne movie, and whenever I see it, or like you go away. You go away for a couple of years.
I go away.
And then you hit me up and you go, I made a new movie. And here it is. Dude, okay. For Fluorescent Beast, I feel like so many people, if you are creative and you have aspirations to be involved in indie film, Hollywood, whatever, you need to see this movie. It so hits on all that. And I have to say, I loved Blaine Weaver in this. It's so good. That album. I mean, oh my God. You must, Blaine Weaver's been in your films, and he's a filmmaker in his own right. Yeah. And his part in this is so pivotal, very funny as a musician, mysterious figure. I loved it. I was like, as a fan of yours, it just totally hit me.
Oh, thank you. A little funny story about those, the album cover, and there's an album cover of him, and there's also an Employee of the Month photo.
Right.
And when you see the film, you see what I mean. But in these, he plays a very kind of almost sinister character, but the photographs of him in the film are like this.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
We did the first shot because he was in Shreveport doing a play at the time. And so I couldn't be on when we shot those. We had to shoot them remotely. So we hired a photographer in Shreveport, and he went and did them, and they were kind of like, and I got him back, and I'm like, dude, let's get on Zoom. I gotta show you what I'm doing. It's gotta be like insane. And I don't think he quite got the tone of it until I did the Zoom. And then from that point on, he got the tone of the movie, because the previous work I've done has been a little more naturalistic in terms of performances. These are like out there, broad, Barton Fink performances. So he had to go really broad. I thought he did a pretty great job.
Yeah.
Going kind of nuts.
Yeah. It's, we have a lot of, there's over 4,000 people watching us live. We have a lot of questions in the chat. Before we go to the questions in the chat, here's the thing. You have been consistent with your work. I mean, I make an indie movie every 10 years. You have been able to be consistently, you make a movie, you got to make the next movie. How have you maintained that? How have you been able to do that? And, you are, you have a family and whatnot. How do you do it? How do you get consistent and be, just get consistently good film out there?
Well, the good film part, I can't, that's just put up to the gods that I'm able to work it out. Right. But as far as consistent, there's only what was I forget who it was. Gain Wilson. No. It was Matt Groening said, "Here's where you're born. Here's where you die, and here's forever." It's like, this is time. This is you. So like, this is the career. So I'm gonna keep making movies. If someone wants to come and give me lots of money to make them for studios, great. But in the meantime, I'm gonna make them for me. So, and I do a lot myself. I mean, I write, I edit, I produce with my wife and our producing partners, and I direct and do all the sound design, oversee the whole thing, do the marketing. So there's a lot. So when I finish one, I kind of like, that's done, and then I kind of start the next. So right now I'm in that process of starting the next. I'm in the writing process, and I write a bunch of stuff, and I kind of figure out which one I want to live with for the next couple of years, and then we go from there, and we start the process over. That's kind of how it goes. So them being consistent, I'm just thankful that I'm sober enough to get a sentence together. It's there we go.
Well, let's go to the chat here. Want to thank Clove9 for being a member. Solomon Thornton says, "Greetings, Sir Paul. Any screenwriting advice?"
Wow. Just well, I think there's so much, man. There's so much advice, but I think the big thing is watch a lot of movies. Watch a lot of movies. I mean, read some scripts for sure, but you're writing a movie. You're not writing a script per se. So watch a lot, and don't just watch stuff that's in your comfort zone. Branch out. Watch weird stuff. Watch old stuff. Watch foreign exploitation films. Watch old Japanese gangster films. Everything that you see that's different, that goes into your brain, is another tool for your toolbox. So that's why I'd say get a Criterion channel subscription and get Tubi and go between the two and just watch a lot of stuff. For starters, the other thing I think is, I would say is, I wouldn't worry too much about a lot of the screenwriting books. I think a lot of them really handcuff you into formula, and you don't want to do that. I think Sid Field's book Screenplay is kind of the primer about the 3-act structure. And I think from there, read scripts, watch movies, and write a lot. And one last piece of advice, when you have something you think you like that's working, get some actors together, pros if you can get them. If they're friends of yours, you don't have to pay them, but just people, and do a table read. It's better if it's actually actors, stage, whatever, doesn't matter. Sign them apart, get a table read going, hear it out loud, hear it on its feet, and then have a discussion afterwards and see what works and what doesn't. That's a good way to kind of vet your work as you grow.
I've done that, and when you do a table read with real actors, you
learn
all
a lot.
all the flaws, everything that doesn't work, you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's got to be cut. That's too long.
Yeah.
That's obvious. Stuff is repetitive. It's nothing will make you rewrite your script more than a table
Right.
read. Comments, including questions here from Sean Hu. I see that it's already won 3 awards. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. You've been to IMDb. I appreciate that.
Apocalypse TM Fluorescent Beast has a good trailer.
Thank you.
That's good.
That was a tough movie to do a trailer for.
What's the website for the film? Do you have a website?
It's conspicuouspictures.com, and just click on Fluorescent Beast. And by the way, I don't know if we're going to talk about this, but we're screening actually this weekend in 3 different cities. We're screening in Los Angeles on Saturday, 2 p.m. at Vidiot's in Eagle Rock, 2:30 in Mount Pleasant, Michigan at the Celebration Cinema, and on Sunday, 6 p.m. in Fort Lauderdale at the Savor Cinema. And all those links to tickets can be found, along with showtimes, at conspicuouspictures.com/screenings. And they're all there. You click right to tickets.
We will put the link in the description for this video. Good question here from Rumble, ADellis24. How did you discover Caden Cross to cast her in the film? Who's Caden Cross?
Caden Cross is the dream girl
right,
in the movie.
I figured that.
All right, so we have in our film, there's a dream girl that comes out, and she disrobes a little bit and doesn't do much else in the movie. She's really there to represent some of his frustration. And so we're like, well, how do we cast for that? So it's kind of difficult to find like this will look good on your reel, in an indie film. So I thought, you know what, we should probably get an adult actor to play that part because there's not going to be a problem with the nudity. There's not going to be a problem with any of the things. And so by the way, pro tip, if you want to see the acting scenes of adult actors, go to YouTube and Google them and Google their scenes, because you won't see anything actually pornographic. You'll see the scenes in between the actual commercial stuff. So you'll see their performance, because I wanted somebody who could act. So I found I had a short list, and I had a friend who had used to work in the industry, and he was able to, through a makeup artist that he knew, connect me to her. She suggested Caden. I looked at Caden's stuff, and Caden's great. And by the way, Caden is like super nice, super professional. She's mostly a director now. So she was super easy to direct. A real sport, because we shot those scenes in November in California, but in November it was cold. And she was a total pro. And by the way, total pro, didn't complain about anything, showed up early, made a multi-million-dollar deal for her company while sitting on the couch on her laptop while reading the script in between scenes. True story.
Wow.
Helped name the film, because the temp title was The Fluorescent Beast. I considered it a holding title. I just considered it temp. And she asked me about it, and I said, well, I told her that it was. And she says, well, if you just drop the, it's perfect. And I was like, oh, you're right. Okay.
Nice.
You're right. And my producer behind me was like, yes, that solves it. And so she Justin Timberlaked us on the title. So nothing but good things to say about Caden. She was awesome.
Let's see here. Revan's father, how important is the audience for a filmmaker, or just make your stuff and don't care?
Well, that's a good question. I want an audience. I do, but I figure I'm going to kind of make my stuff that interests me. And I'm going to make it for an audience of one, and everybody else is invited to the party. That's the Quentin Tarantino line that I stole, and I think it's a pretty good one. So I figured that hopefully I'm making films I would want to see, and I'm making them the best way I can. And my hope is that other people will see them and relate to them as well. But this one, and you mentioned, Chris, that creatives see this and they do react to it. It's true. Yeah. Go to Fluorescent Beast.
Yeah. Look at this.
Look at that. I know, it's cool.
Look at all your Favor. Oh my God. Favor.
There we go.
Will drive you. All of these are good movies.
Thank you.
These are all good movies. So
go to Fluorescent Beast, go to screenings. Go to screenings.
Nice. There we go.
Boom.
That's great.
There you go. Shreveport was last night. And you get tickets to all the screenings right there.
Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
Yeah.
I know Mount Pleasant and Florida.
It's pretty cool. We played a festival there. We won the Best Picture award there. So anyway, so I'm hoping that you mentioned this film, creatives would like it. And I think of this film as a comedy, but what I found at screenings is people get a very emotional reaction to the movie, to Fluorescent Beast. Like they feel really like, I don't know, I partially assaulted and touched. They feel, I'm surprised at people who I work in corporate, and and I always wanted to be a ballerina. And this is killing me watching this movie. It touched my core. Maybe I should rethink. Maybe I should go back to dancing. People are having these, surprisingly emotional reactions to the film.
I can see that. More questions here. Yeah. Ray from Razorburn. Paul, how was it interviewing Kevin Smith for Official Rejection?
He was great. We were supposed to have him for 20 minutes, and he sat with us for 2 hours at his offices at the USQ in Hollywood. And he was super generous and nice and awesome and fun. And it was funny. We had trouble scheduling him for months, and we finally got him. And then when he sat with us for 2 hours for our scheduled 20 minutes, I knew why. Because he just, he just loves to be in the moment, loves to talk. But he's one of those guys that when you meet him, you feel like you've known him your whole life. He just has that sort of charm and energy to him. At least that was my experience.
Yeah. Brock Samsonite, what is your favorite question to ask talent during auditions to help figure out if they're a good fit for your project?
I don't really ask them any questions. What I do is when I'm auditioning talent, We give them the sides that we're going to have them read. And I tell them, first of all, they don't have to be off book. Like, I'd rather you think about the performance than worrying about whether you got the line right. And then we'll have them the audition. And then we also give them the entire script. And we say, you don't have to read this, but if you want to see more about what the part is, if you want to get a better understanding of what it is, you have this at your disposal. Then we have them come in, we have them read it once. By the way, I give them a 15-minute window to audition. They don't just try to turn it out. I'm there. And I usually have them reading with a real actor, like not just someone going, hey, blah, 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 next to the camera, like a real actor. And I hold the camera and I kind of find a position that's sort of an angle I like, that I can kind of see them, but also not too intrusive. So they're playing to the actor, they're not playing to camera. Because what I'm trying to do is, I found this out very early, that there are people that can audition well, but they can't act. And there are people that can act well, but can't audition. So I try to make the audition process as close to an acting experience, a real acting experience as possible. So reading with another actor, having advanced material, not having to like be so pressured on the lines. I also let them do it more than once. I give them plenty of time. And also by scripting at 15 minutes, there aren't like 20 people waiting in the waiting room dressed the same way they are. There's like maybe one or maybe two. So they're not psyching themselves out. And once they read the first time, they'll be maybe a little tense. Have them read the second time, they tend to relax. Then maybe I'll give them an adjustment. And if they've done everything, if I want an adjustment, I'll give the adjustment that I want. If they've done things without an adjustment that I think is obvious or I think is perfect, I'll still give them an adjustment to see how well they take it. But I don't really ask them anything, if that makes sense. And then we review the tape.
Good question here from Brian Smith for 5. Appreciate that support. Where can we see Fluorescent Beast in the Dallas area or streaming?
Nowhere yet. We're still looking at adding more cities. We're going to add Winchester, I think, in September. So keep your eye out for Dallas. If you want to keep the website open and periodically check, we'll add screenings there, or you can follow me on any of these socials at Paul Makes Movies. And I'm not shy about sharing when we get screenings. Streaming, we are still working on our deal. So hopefully towards the end of the year, and hopefully Film Threat will we'll spout about it a little bit when we have.
We will do that. I mean, you got a review already.
Very good review. Oh my God. We're going to milk that review till the end of time, Chris.
Please do. Please
do. 10 out of 10. It's like, what? Wow. Great. Thank you.
Well, yes. I mean, like I said, the script is so, you can't,
that's a good question.
Not one word should be lost and nothing that's in it is unnecessary. From ADLS24 from Rumble, at a tight 90 minutes, how long was the shooting script, and did you need to trim anything to maintain that runtime, either on set or in the edit?
Well, we weren't aiming at 90. We just landed at 90. The script was about 93 pages, and we didn't really cut. We didn't really cut any scenes. We shortened some scenes if they felt like they were running long. We do have one fairly lengthy scene. I think, Chris, if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Is a big, long, like 10-minute monologue-y scene. It's the Sterling Hayden Strangefield scene.
The boss's monologues.
Thank you.
I'm not going to ruin it. It's so funny. I see it more as a thriller comedy than anything else, but also with, like this, like I'm sitting here relating to like, oh yeah, the thing I want to do, I can't do. So
like, oh, that's true. You do own everything, and I do have to do all this stuff to be alive. But so to answer your question, so I tend to be a real taskmaster on the script. Like the script, I don't want to like kind of do the script and kind of go, well, we'll figure it out. Like I want the page to be as tight as possible. So when I'm writing, I'm tight. I'm rigorous on the script at the script stage. If something I know isn't working, I fix it before I get it out. And then we do the table reads, and I do rehearse with the actors. Like we do rehearsal periods in pre-production to really work things out. So, I mean, there were a few things that we shortened. But for the most part, what's in the script is what's on the screen. And that tends to be the case with my stuff. There's maybe one scene I've dropped in the last 2-3 features total. And yeah, in Favor, we dropped a scene, and I think usually a couple scenes end up getting tightened by, like, there's some things that tend to ramble, that tend to go, like me talking right now, tend to ramble, tend to bring them down. But fortunately, I'm tight on the page for whatever reason.
Yes, you are. So when you do the DVD, no deleted scenes.
No deleted scenes at all on this one. So,
right. And a final question here from Christopher Moonlight Productions: writing backwards from what you have, the means to get for your movie, sounds like the purest spirit of indie filmmaking. Also, and Christopher, by the way, a frequent commenter on the panel, he won an award at our award show, Award This, which you are now eligible for. By the way, Paul, I don't know if you knew. The only requirement is you have a movie that's out and in commercial release, right? And get reviewed on Film Threat.
Boom.
That's it.
Done it.
That's it. We do it in December.
Great.
So Chris is a winner of that. Writing backwards from what you have means the means to get for your movie sounds like the purest spirit of indie filmmaking. Also, filming in your home is the best. You know where the bathroom is.
It's
so
true.
Any comments on that?
Filming in your home is the cheapest. That's the best part. I got a great we can circle back to Caden Cross for a second. I got a great story if you have a minute. So we're shooting in our home, and we're shooting in the back. Now I have a son from a previous marriage. His wife and my ex-wife and I get along great, and we shared custody with him. He's an adult now. At the time we shot this movie, he was about 17. So he had his days he was over, and then he had days he was at his mom's, but he would come back and forth on his own all the time. There was no, it was whatever. And he had his own room. Anyway, but he wasn't supposed to be at our house while we were shooting the scenes with Caden. Took over the house, cruising the house. We need a dressing room and a makeup room. So we use my son's bedroom in the back of the house. It's got access to the back where we're shooting. It's perfect. It's exactly right. So we take over his room and we're shooting back there. Now he, unbeknownst to me, shows up. His mom drops him off. He's out of the car, goes up in the house. He opens the door. He has no idea we're filming anything. He sees craft service over here, equipment over here. Dad's making something today. Okay. I'm just going to go back to my room. Opens the door, and there's Caden Cross, porn star, in lingerie, in his desk chair. She's like, "Oh, hi."
Oh, my God.
Happiest teen boy I've ever seen in my entire life. And when we shot those scenes with her, he was running Slate. He's like, "Dad, I'm in. I'm running Slate. I'm working." And he ended up PAing the entire movie. So,
well, Paul, congratulations on the film. Let us know when it's out on VOD. Because what we will do, we'll repost the review on our front page and let people know. And great. Alan, add those links to the website to get tickets. And the link to conspicuouspictures.com. It will be in the description for this video here. You can see the trailer running there. Paul, such an honor to have you on.
Oh,
I'm such a fan of you because you represent a lot of people in Hollywood, they talk. You're like, I wrote a script, I made a movie. You're not even telling people. Whenever I hear from you, I made another movie. And, so fun, so good. Let us know when it's out on VOD.
Will do. And we're also looking for a physical media partner as well. So those of you who like Blu-rays like me, shout out to physical media. We're looking for one as well. So hoping to have a kick-ass disc in addition to some beautiful VOD distribution.
You need a box set for your film.
Yes,
I agree. There is a lot of, they don't connect necessarily, but there are running themes. A box set of the Osborne trilogy or Osborne opus, whatever you call it.
Filmography. Osborne Cinematic Universe.
Yes. But they feel your movies feel connected. They're not, but they feel that way.
It's because Patrick Day's in everything. My actor Patrick Day is in everything I do. I think that might be what it is.
Blaine is so funny to me. I just think he's hilarious. And what's worse, I know him. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
He's not an a-hole. He's such an a-hole.
Acting.
Yes.
Chris. Acting.
Yes. Cool. Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to see you, man. Hit me back for the VOD. We are going to put this interview, we'll clip it, put it on our interview channel. I'll send you
sweet.
the link.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, Chris.
Cool. Have a great day. Say hi to the fam. Take
I
care,
will.
man.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. Later. Bye.